Hello, welcome to this episode of The Bald Book Geek. Oh, I went to see The Little Mermaid and I have opinions. Let's start the show. Hello. So, first things first, I want to say some good. There is a good. The actress they have as Ariel. She's working with some really bad material, but she's actually the best thing in this movie, and the actor playing Trident. I think they're the best things in this film. I don't get some of the casting choices, but we're going to talk about that. And honestly, okay, so we're going to rip this apart and let's be real. It fails to recapture the magic of the original. I don't think live action is the best way to tell a Little Mermaid story because, yeah, it's kind of jarring. It's like the old film cut with new pieces and new music. The styles are jarring. Everything underwater is really dark and muted, and a lot about the film just looked very dull. It was missing that charm. The new material, the new songs don't fit the original soundtrack. They've really stretched this one out. The original film's only 80 something minutes. This is 130 something. And they've really stretched this out to the point of why? It doesn't need this. The new material is weird and out of place. The edits and changes to the songs, especially if you know the original, feel out of place. And if you're a bit of a Disney geek, this is disappointing. It's one of those films that's just disappointing. It's not a great movie, but it's not a terrible movie. It's just disappointing. The CGI looks strange. This is something that is annoying the hell out of me when I watched it. The CGI, the realistic CGI animals are creepy as hell. It's creepy. They're too realistic and they jar in this more slightly cartoonish fantasy look that they've gone with the mer people. And it just seems strange. The film feels disjointed and stretched out. And I think if you're going to do this, you need that charm, you need that brightness, and this is lacking. I don't know why they went with the photorealistic CGI. Flounder and Sebastian and Scuttle barely have any personality. And that's the way to describe it. They're not expressive. They're almost uncanny valley animals, and some of the underwater CGI just looks really strange. And the above ground stuff does look better, I will say that. There was nothing bad, but there was nothing good either. It was really strange. You have this just feels like a overly long drawn out fan film in places. It feels somewhat unfinished. And there's no chemistry between the two actors playing Ariel and Eric. There's no chemistry. It feels very like the kiss the girls scene. There is no chemistry there. And I don't know how to describe it. I'm trying to put this into terms that make sense because you have a film that is very obviously a toy commercial that is definitely playing into Disney's marketing tactic. If you do not like it, you are a ist or a phobe. And I went with my friend and their child, and the child, who loves the original Little Mermaid, was sitting there bored and fell asleep. So, for her to fall asleep during a movie is very telling. And I asked her what she thought of it after, and she said it was kind of creepy. That was her exact words. It looked kind of creepy. And I think that's ultimately the problem. You cannot recreate magic. And that's what Disney are trying to do. They're trying to replicate the magic of their past successes and failing miserably. I also think Melissa McCarthy was the worst casting in the entire movie. And I can barely tolerate her unless it's the Gilmore Girls. There's no reason she should be playing Ursula. She doesn't have that zazz, for want of a better word. I think I always said this: if you're gonna do a live action Little Mermaid, get Queen Latifah or someone like that in it. I think that would just stronger casting, because Queen Latifah is very good at Malevolent. She's very good at Wicked and creepy. Melissa just comes across as too campy and trying too hard, and it just feels generic. So it's not. I will say this: it's not the super bad movie that everyone is saying, but it's not super good. It's disappointing. It's generic. It's squashed together and chopped up, and just feels like they're trying way too hard to recapture magic of the original. And when you look at that cast, when you look at the original, go back, look at the charm, look at the sweetness. It's a simple tale. It's sweet, it's charming, and that's all it needed to be. This is overly complicated, it's dull. Children were bored when I was watching it, and the whole thing just feels rushed and unfinished and overly long. So, yeah, it just feels lazy. That's the operative word for this movie. It's lazy. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below, because I'm really curious on this one. So, like, subscribe, and do the usuals.